This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, good morning. This is the March 3rd, 2022 meeting of the Southampton Bylaw Review Advisory Committee. President Francine Tishman, myself, and Virginia Ahart. We are going to suspend the meeting for about 15 minutes in order for our third member who will make the quorum join us. So I will leave it on. I will just stop the recording for now, and we'll come back and resume the meeting, or begin the meeting for that matter, at 10:45. All right.
Okay.
So I'll see you in 15 minutes. Thank you. Okay. Recording in progress. Okay, so here it is. We're resuming the meeting of the Bylaw Review Advisory Committee, the March 3rd meeting. We have a quorum: Chris Files, Virginia Ahart, and Francine Tishman. It's 10:40 a.m. All right, so looking out there, I don't see anyone there for public comment, unless there's someone outside your car, Chris, we don't know about.
Don't think so.
Okay. All right, so with that, we'll move to the main purpose of our meeting, which is to look at the revisions that I made based on feedback that we got from the select board meeting. And hopefully this will be the last time before we can go ahead and get it posted so that we can get other comments, because I'm sure there are going to be many more. So if we wouldn't mind looking at the Article 15, which was the humane care and treatment, and what I did do on copies, and I'll pull it up on the screen. Okay, can everybody see that?
No.
All right. Can you see it's on the screen?
All I can see is something else.
Chris, can you see it? You're on mute, Chris.
Okay, we're okay now.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. All right, so we're looking at the first bylaw on the humane care and treatment of domesticated animals. And as I said, it's obvious that the changes that I made based on those feedback are in yellow. So without going into the definition, which is a very lengthy one, I cited what Chapter 140, Section 136A of the Massachusetts General Law cites as the definition, and that being through the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, and I cited that citation. And it is a very lengthy list of domestic, and I just gave a few examples. People want more, they can go to that citation and see the rest of what's considered domesticated, but it's quite long.
My only thought here is the third one, pigs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would be better to say miniature pigs or pot-bellied pigs or something.
Okay.
They don't think we've got a big
Okay.
young
All right.
pig.
Okay, I can leave it out. There's nothing that says I have to keep that in. It's just one, and I'm sure they have because if you see this, they have every variety of pig, cow, monkey defined. So, all right, if Chris, you're okay, we'll take pigs out.
Yeah, if you take out pigs, why don't you take out monkeys too? And just leave it dogs and cats.
Okay, or any
dogs,
animal.
Cats, and
okay.
any other animal.
All right, fine. Okay, we'll do that. I thought that was strange too, but they did have that. Okay. All right, then moving on to section 2, which I didn't catch. Section 1 now becomes section 2, and so on and so forth. We had agreed before to change, instead of nutritious food, just potable water, food, proper shelter, protection from weather, And added, owners shall also provide veterinary care sufficient to prevent suffering and the spread of disease, and shall provide home care and treatment for the animals as specified. And I did that citation. Chris, I think you found that one. So you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Yep.
Okay. Okay. And then finally, down at the bottom, we added this bylaw does not apply to farm animals. It has its own section. And you're
Right.
okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So that should clear that one up. Now, if we-
Francine,
yeah.
Francine, I sent you an email. You may not have seen it this morning, where I made some comments. One was, well, you're going to renumber these, obviously,
Yeah.
since it's 5 of them now. But I didn't know if we needed one more thing at the end talking about enforcement, or we just leave it silent.
Oh,
You know,
I got the
that's-
enforcement part, and I thought you were referencing what we already had in there is what the police were going to do in the dog bylaw.
No, I broke it into 2. Yeah. So my comment was whether or not we needed, the next one more clause just to say that, and I don't know whether it's the police. I guess it would be the police that would enforce it, and whether we just say that, fines will be, our usual language, fines will be established per the whatever select board or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know if that should be in there. That was my only thought on that one. But just to note that we're really dealing with 2 bylaws. I guess I've always had in my head,
Yes.
look
yes.
at them. We
As
do have
one.
bylaws.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was all on that, just whether we needed an enforcement clause or not.
Okay. All right. So I'll add something similar to what we have in the dogs here, and that would be section 6.
I think that would.
And that'll do it?
It's fine with me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then, so with that, let's hope this is the last one. Just to let you both know, I did send both of these to Nicole and to Ian for them to review. Nicole got back to me and said everything was fine. I haven't heard back yet from Ian. And there were just some minor tweaks from the last version they saw, but they were okay with it. She was okay, and let's hear what Ian has to say, because the other thing I added to Ian's, not to digress too much, in addition to the police section where we say that violations would be determined by the police department, I did explain to him about what we discussed with Lucy as the method for people to retrieve their unlicensed dogs over the weekend or when town hall is closed. If the police would contact Lucy, and that may be what's holding up his response. Okay, but I added that to it. So let's go back to Article 16. And there were 2 options here. Dogs must be leashed or under voice control on town property, meaning you have full control of your dog at all times. Or we could say no person owning a dog shall permit the dog to be off leash on town property, which is what we had originally. Any comments?
I'll be right back. I've got to get a phone call.
Okay.
Okay. My thought was the second one would be fine.
Okay.
No person owning a dog shall permit the dog to be off leash on town property.
Okay. All right. Now that if you go to, and I'm thinking particularly of Conant Park, you're going to find a lot of people who allow their dog to be off leash. That was why I was putting the option of under voice control, but that's not always viable. I understand that. So we'll just leave it at the second one.
I'm back.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. See what Virginia thinks. I mean, I guess my thought would be that, I understand that under voice control, and one assumes that people have them under voice control. But then again, if you have an excited dog and a bunch of kids, and who knows, I mean, things could go sideways too. So
yes, normally they could respond, and this may be not a normal situation. Okay, Virginia. So the 2 choices there, Chris was opting for the second one. No person owning a dog shall permit the dog to be off leash on
Yeah.
town property. So we're gonna go with that one. Okay. All right. The next one on the only kind of clarification that was there anything else on section 1 that you folks had?
No.
Okay. The other that I explained in section 2, the only clarification I made was I defined a 12-month period for dog licensing, which is April to March. So people don't, it's not January to December, as most people would suspect, just to keep it clean.
Right. And there's where, if you got my email, or you may not have seen it, Francine, there's where I did suggest a change, that we stop after March 31, because your next 2 sentences talk about kennel licensing, and you've actually got that later on in section 3 or whatever that is, the next section on kennels.
Yeah.
We've actually talked about that. So let's hold those last 2 sentences kind of aside for now. I mean, I think the dog licensing for the basic dog, April to March, is fine. That may just need that 1 sentence and that's it. But those last 2 sentences about a kennel license required and town clerk and all that stuff, you've talked about it later on. So I think it could be omitted there, but let's come back to it.
All right, let's do that. I don't want to confuse people, but as we were talking about licenses, just wanted people to know whether it was your pet or if you had multiple dogs that exceeded a number that you also had to have a license. Okay, I'll leave it out.
Well, we've repeated it, so it could be in one place or the other, but it doesn't need to be in both.
Have to be in both. So. All right, let's leave it and we'll take it out of this one. Okay, that takes care of that one. Then we move on to page 3. And under section, what is this? Section 2F, we added, as determined by this, any person who violates this law as determined by the Southampton Police Department. We put that in as the enforcement. Shall be liable for a penalty of each violation established by the select board. You okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the end of 3. Then we're going to, I'm sorry, F, section 2. Then we're going to section 3, 3D. I did just want everyone to know that I did go in and review each of the citations to make sure that they were accurate in representing, the content. And so I just wanted you to know that I found this in this section. Okay. And just I put that citation in. If you guys want to go take a look, I'd be great. I'm going to tell you, it's probably one of the longer laws they have on the books for the state. And I think it's going to be close to the longest one we're going to have in our bylaws. But that is it, unless there are other comments that I missed that people want to add. Be done.
Yeah, I had a couple, Francine, but I can't pull them up on my phone. I'm sorry.
When did you send the email today?
This morning. Yeah.
Okay, let me take a look and I'll read it out to people.
Yeah. And if you could just scroll down to section 2 again, I think there was just a couple wording things there. Yeah, it was on 2B.
Mm-hmm.
We've got new dog owners must obtain a license within 30 days of obtaining their new dog. I was just suggesting you could get rid of the first new and just say dog owners must obtain a license within 30 days of obtaining their new dog. You don't need to say new twice, maybe.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
I think that was good. I can't see what else I had there. Feels like there was something in maybe 2E, but I can't remember it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find my...
I'm looking. I see your E code.
Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Your camera thing's coming in here.
Let me look all mail.
Yep.
Let's see if it went somewhere else.
Yeah. I sent it to both your Gmail and your town mail.
No, I don't have it, Chris. And I looked at all my mail just in case I.
Yep. All right. Hold on. Let me see if I can get into it here for a minute.
We have Ian joining us.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, I sent, okay, I can read it. So 2B was that, 2G was just to capitalize animal control facility.
To,
In 2G.
yes, okay. 2G Animal Control Facility. Mhm.
Yeah. And then I think I was looking at the two sentences about kennel moving down into section 3B. You've talked about to move one of those sentences from 2 down to 3, which is a kennel license is required for more than 4 dogs. Put that as the first sentence of 3B, maybe.
Okay,
I think that was my comment.
move
That
to
was,
3B. Okay.
yeah, I think I've lost you. I don't know where you are, but I can't find you at the moment. That's okay.
Okay, all right, but okay, so I'll move first sentence of 3B under dog kennels will be a kennel license required for more than 4 dogs.
Yep. Yeah. And then I
Okay.
think yeah, because then you talked somewhere in there about licensing with the town clerk, I think already in 3, didn't you? In that 3B or wherever that was.
Yes, issued by the town clerk, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was thinking that what you had up in 2B or something was repetitive. So
Yes,
since we're under kennels, we may as well dump everything under kennels.
under kennels, okay,
Kennels.
that makes sense.
I think that was it. And then my only last thing was on the very last part, whether animal control officer or whatever is the right term for Nicole. Is that her title?
No, she's animal inspector.
Yeah. So we've got animal control officer or something in the last 2 clauses.
Where are you?
The very last part of the bylaw, section,
Okay.
whatever that is. I can't see it
Section
anymore.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. The town administrator will notify the animal control and all involved persons of the date. Okay. I have animal control / inspector. There may be occasions when they ask the animal control officer from Westfield. I don't know. I was just giving
Okay.
the option because Nicole may not have been the person to respond.
Okay. Yep. Then maybe it needs to be the same in the last paragraph too, then, I think.
Okay. Okay. Welcome, Ian. You're muted. I don't know if you want to jump in here.
Hello,
Good
how's
morning.
everybody?
Good.
Good. I
I
figured
hope I
I'd
didn't-
join in. I figured I'd join in because I didn't get a chance. I briefly looked over this morning and I figured now I was at another meeting. So if you had any questions for me, I'm open for responses now.
Okay. The main thing, we made some specifications in the dog bylaw whereby under section 2F, we specified that if for anyone who violates this law, as determined by the Southampton Police Department, asking if you're in agreement with that, because you're the ones who usually respond to these situations, correct?
Sure. And a lot of it also applies to the Mass General laws too. We've charged plenty of people under the Mass General laws versus, well, now it's incorporated in our bylaws, but the proposed bylaws. But a lot of times we go with just the actual animal cruelty laws as far as certain situations where they leave the dog in the car too long, or perhaps they're leaving it outside too long during inclement weather.
Okay. And what about other animals, not dogs, not cats, but do you get complaints about sheep and cows?
We do. And what happens is we actually go to Nicole for that, with the animal inspector, because that's really outside of our capabilities of discerning whether or not it's cruelty, because some animals are intended to be in weather that is, for instance, I know that there's a certain farm that has animals that are supposed to be in colder weather. All they need is a wind block versus shelter.
Yes.
So, and that's something that we don't know. So we reach out to the Board of Health on that.
Okay.
Or the animal inspector.
Okay, are you guys, the rest of you comfortable with that?
That's fine.
Okay. And then I'm not sure if you understood what I was trying to convey to you in the rest of my email regarding unlicensed dogs that are retained until they are licensed. And what do we do when town hall is closed and people can't obtain a license on Thursday night? That means they wait till Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked because Lucy volunteered. We're not going to put this in the bylaws because this is a very personalized response on her part. But if the police would call her at home, she will give you the cell number. She would be willing to issue the license either online or go in and meet the individuals in the office so that they could pick their animal up sooner rather than later.
That is, I don't have any problem with that. The only thing is the system and how that works might be difficult because there might be some holes in there that we might not be able to accomplish. For instance, what happens if the police department doesn't know about a particular animal that's loose and it's being kennelled in Westfield? Well, then we wouldn't be able to contact Lucy. For instance, someone might have called them directly and they responded. There might be situations where we might not know about it, but if there are, that's certainly something that we can handle. Yes.
Okay.
It's just the system of contact.
Okay. So where the person called animal control directly bypassed anyone here in town so that we would be unaware.
If that was the case, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I understand that. So, I mean, I don't know that we can provide for every contingency, but the ones that we know about, like the one I'm just describing,
Right.
If you're okay with that, then we'll.
Sure. So long as, sure. So long as the Westfield Animal Control lets us know that it's unlicensed.
Yes.
Because they might, if they don't let us know, then we wouldn't obviously have that knowledge to notify Lucy. So I think it's going to have to require some communication with them as well.
Okay, and I'll let Lucy handle that since she has the relationship. But the other thing is that the person, when they go to retrieve their dog, when they get notice from animal control, once they get there, they'll find out perhaps that when they can't produce a license or documentation, they'll find out at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I think we're okay. Do you have any other comments on this, on either one or both?
No, I'm just, I'm glad that you referenced the animal cruelty law in there. I think that's important. I think it's 147E, that section.
170, yes.
174E. I think that's important that you reference that because that's what we're going on now, that particular Mass General law for animals that are tethered too long, animals that are outside too long. So that I think that's important to reference that. I think that was good.
Okay. All right. And then we were just looking here at, now that we're on the humane care section, the first one, we're going to add something at the end that violations of this law will be, and we'll reference again, the police in terms of enforcement. Are you comfortable with that?
Sure. As long as it gives, what's important is that we have the discretion to either go with the bylaw or the law itself.
Okay.
Because under aggravating circumstances, the law is more practical because it's a felony. And, we've seen some pretty horrible treatment of animals. So, we'd obviously rather go with the law versus the bylaw if the bylaw is only going to be a civil infraction.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to duplicate, we're going to add 2F from the dog bylaw to make that section 6 of the humane care and treatment. Everybody okay with that one?
Yeah.
All right. Because this has to be renumbered a little bit, Ian.
Okay.
It takes like 10 eyes.
I'm sure it does.
To catch everything. So we have 8 here today. So
it's a lot of work, and I apologize. I didn't get a chance to review it.
That's okay.
It's been kind of a crazy week for me right now.
No, you got a lot. We're good. Okay. Is there anything else then on this?
Francine,
right.
Francine, just a question in terms of what we had talked about with the contract with the animal control facility. I assume there's nothing from that needs to be put in the bylaw, and we really need to work at looking at whenever that contract is up for renewal to look at the terms of that contract again.
Right.
That might deal with that weekend situation, et cetera.
Uh-huh.
I think that's important too, because my understanding is the owners, I don't think, are subject to the costs if it's not licensed, right?
But they won't release the dog until it is licensed. And
Right.
and part of that is that we have in here that they're responsible for all the costs associated.
Okay, all right, great, yeah.
Yeah, I think we need, before this is renewed, we need to somehow get the word out to the public as to what kind of animals. According to some of the things I've heard, people call for everything under the sun. And instead of, okay, it's a wild animal, let's not go pick it up.
Yeah.
You got a rabid raccoon running around. You want to leave it alone, maybe let the police know, but not ask an animal control officer to come and get it.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Ahart, the one thing about that is when the police respond to that, the officers, if it's rabid, they have to dispatch it with a firearm.
That's fine with me.
Unfortunately, we don't have the means to take care of the animal that is possibly infected with rabies.
No, that's fine with me. I've shot them.
Right. However, where the animal control, while it costs money, they actually dispose of the animal. They take the animal and dispose of it.
Okay, well, I think they need to know the animal needs to be disposed of, not picked up and cared for.
Oh, no, they won't. I don't believe they do that.
No, I mean the people that are calling.
Oh, okay, all right. The people that call us normally are asking for our services to remove the animal.
Yeah.
And then we, if the situation allows, we ask animal control to come out to do it because they can dispatch it safer as well as remove the animal.
Okay. Well, I had a conversation with Lucy about this, and then that's why she's asked that the select board take a look at the contract, because what she's saying is that we are getting billed by Westfield when they get calls for injured squirrels and birds and so forth, that with a call, they come up and they pick up and they care for.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to see anything mistreated or not treated if it could be survived, but then it becomes the expense of the town. And how do we manage that? And I think it's an unidentified expense, and I think for the most part we're unaware of.
And that's why I'm saying I think we need to let people know there are rehabilitators for a lot of these animals that
Right.
they could call. And then there are times if the animal is sick or badly hurt, they shouldn't be calling.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a whole education process. I'm not sure how to deal with that.
It's tough. It is. I understand both sides of it. When you see an animal such as, it's injured, say it's, deer, we often have to dispatch deer that are hit by a car because we know that they can't be rehabbed or they're not going to survive. But when you see a bobcat, for instance, or a fisher cat or some other animal that you feel like you want to help it. And sometimes the rehab people will not respond to the scene. They'll respond if we're able to capture the animal.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way the officers are going to pick up a bobcat that's injured or a fisher cat or any large animal that could possibly hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're right in how you describe that, Francine, as it's an education.
Yeah.
Because
Right. Well, I know because last summer we took an injured bat to Leverett. But we called and we found out where a rehab place was, and I'm sure others do it too.
Oh, sure. Well, you know, we will do that often with owls. There's a particular person that rehabs owls and birds of prey. And we'll, if we can, we'll put them in a container and we'll bring them to the police department, and then that person will come and pick them up.
Yeah.
But those are birds of prey that we can possibly manage. You know, some of these other animals, you know, obviously we can't. If it was a bear, we'd contact the environmental police, but other animals such as you know, it's tough. You know, you want to help the animal, but I understand where Mrs. Ahart's coming from as well.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's because I grew up on a farm and I don't have a real tender heart for every animal that walks down the street.
A lot of people do, though, you know, and that's the
I know.
That's what's difficult, because they expect us to take an injured squirrel. They expect us to, you know, because they want to rehab the animal. I mean, Francine, if I'm not, did I hear you correctly? You actually had a bat rehabbed?
Yes.
As in like the flying?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
it was.
Wow. You know, that's see, you know, that's good karma, great karma. But I don't know if I could do that, you know.
Yeah, it had a broken wing or something. It was laying in our driveway, so we called. They told us how to handle it. Put it in a box.
Yeah.
Drove it to Leverett. That was it. So anyway, okay.
We do have, just so you know, at the police department, we do have a list of rehabs that we contact. So we do have an actual list for all different types of animals.
That would be good to somehow get out.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how we could.
Maybe Ian, as we eventually revamp our website, maybe we ought to have that up on the website somewhere.
Sure.
I agree.
Absolutely.
That would be great. And if you give copies out, I wouldn't mind coming by picking one up for my personal use.
I can put a list together. We have all sorts of rehab places.
Okay.
The key is with them is you either have to bring it to them or you have to contain the animal until they can come get it.
Right. So, okay. The only other thing, Ian, is that we are planning on having another public meeting on these two bylaws, similar to what we did on soliciting, and would like to invite you to join us.
Sure.
In case any questions or issues come up that you're more experienced and familiar with than we would be.
Do we have a date on that?
Well, we're looking at March 24th. We're going to discuss it after we finish the content of this to finalize our plans, because originally that was our date, but we had to keep pushing it back because of the continued need for revisions to this document. So I think this is going to be the final revision before we move forward. So before we schedule it, if it's the 24th, does that look good for you?
I believe it is. Yes, it should be good.
Okay, and if it is not, I will be in touch with you before we confirm it.
Okay.
Okay, because we're also inviting Nicole.
All right, that's great.
Okay.
Nicole's a wealth of knowledge.
Yes, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Ian.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Have a nice weekend, everybody, if I don't see you.
Okay, thanks, you too. Bye-bye. Okay. And anything more? I'm glad we got that all cleared up. Anything else before I make these final changes? All right, so that's what I will do. I will send it out to you. I don't know if you want to take one more look. As I said, a bunch of eyes here, but
No.
I'll send it out to you folks before I send it to Ed. I'll try to get it to him by this afternoon. If you can turn it around that quickly, I don't know. If not, then I'll get it to him, over the weekend, and he'll, I'm sure he's not going to be able to do anything with it until Monday anyway.
Well, he might. I mean, he can, we have our contractor person that he can call, and she does a lot, in between time. So, yeah, I mean, it could be, we just have to be clear in terms of what we want. So we want it posted and have that available for comment like we did for those other bylaws. That's where we got
Right, with the comments coming to each of us so that we
Right.
see them as they come in.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So, and then if we want to take a look at a calendar here, originally the date was, we were going to close the comment period on March 17th. So this gives them less time. Do you want to make the comment period until like the 21st? And still have the meeting on the 24th?
I guess we could try that. I mean, our time frame is such that we want to see if we could get it off to the lawyers, right? Maybe, I don't know, we'd have the turnaround for this town meeting or not, but we definitely wouldn't if we didn't do the public meeting,
By the
you know,
24th.
until, so yeah. So assuming it's up, what day is Monday? Is that the
Monday's the 7th.
7th? So 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks time to leave it up, I think.
Okay, and then the 24th is when we will have the public meetings.
Okay.
That was what we planned originally.
Okay. Yep. No, that sounds fine. I don't have my calendar quick handy
Okay.
that I can look at the same time, but I'll take your word for it. That's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, all right, so we'll do that. Good. I'll be glad when we're done with this. I do expect a lot more comments on this than anything else, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and just be clear with Ed too, that these are two bylaws, not just one.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I only put them back to back to save paper, and I guess that's how it gets misconstrued. My fault. Okay.
But yeah, that's fine.
All right.
That's yep.
All right. Now, if you have a couple minutes, it wasn't on the agenda, but I would like to get past our last two meeting draft minutes summaries that I sent out. And I sent them along to both of you. I'll share February 2nd, and you can take a look and see if you have any comments. Okay, you can, it's all up there for you. You see it?
Yep.
I know. Okay.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
No, I think this one was fine.
Okay. And you can see where our timeline was.
Right.
It's still the 24th for the public meeting. What we may have to adjust is we'll have to meet between the 21st and the 24th to go over the comments. Originally, we had another week in between there, but we'll do it that way. Okay.
Okay.
I'll work something out. All right. So with that, do I have a motion to approve the February 2nd meeting minutes?
So moved. So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. All right. Thank you. And I'll get that posted. Here. Let me get to the February 22nd.
I approve those.
Okay. Now I don't know where my things went. Share screen. Here we go. There you go. Okay, these are the meeting of the 22nd, in which we had Lucy and we discussed more revisions, and we discussed this process of how do I pick animals up, how do people retrieve their unlicensed dogs when town hall is closed.
Yeah, I think the only thing here, when you go down to 5C, which is what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was agreed that the bylaws, maybe it was, because we're not putting that in there, right?
No,
so
right.
It was agreed that we would, I don't know, look at the practicality or look at something to include them. You know, I mean, I don't remember how we left it, but I guess I didn't think that we had total agreement that they had to be in the bylaw, and I think we're veering away from that. So.
Oh, I don't think, because if we put it in the bylaw, the next town clerk said nobody's going to bother me on a weekend about an unlicensed dog. I wouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
but it was responsible for the charges. We don't have that in the bylaw, do we? Now, or do we? Is that in there? See, the amount, not about the weekend, but on the responsible for charges while they were in custody of the Westfield Animal Control? Is that in our, did we just have that paragraph in there? Maybe I can't see it on my.
Let me see. I will go back and check. And if it's somewhere or it's not as clear as it should be, I'll make sure that it is. Okay?
Okay.
The owners are solely responsible for any costs associated with the dog's retention.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. While in custody of
Right.
animal control or something like that, you know. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And I wasn't sure if that was cross-referenced there. Okay.
I would think it was implied, but it may not have been specific. Okay, so it will be. All right. But I'll send this to you this afternoon so that you both can take a look and then let me know with these minor changes here at the end that we're good to go.
Yep.
So any comments though on the February 22nd other than that? Okay, so with that, do I have a motion to approve the February 22nd meeting summary?
Approve.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All right, because I hate having these pile up and then we get very far behind. All right, is there anything else you want to bring up? We already have another meeting scheduled for March 9th, which is next Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right, at 10:30. So I'll send the link out for that. Or if I may have already done it, but I'll send it again if I haven't.
Yeah, I think it's.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else anyone want to cover? All right. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right. And all in favor, aye. So
Aye.
thank you. So we're adjourning at 11:21. Thank you.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.